Hey guys, thank you for joining us for another episode of Young Adult Matters. My name's Amy, and like always, we have Joe here. Hello, Joe.
Hello.
And then again, we have Joey joining us. Hello, Joey.
What's up, guys?
And so again, we have another special guest. She's never been on the show, and so we're very happy and excited to finally have her on. Ivana, can you tell a little bit about yourself?
Hey guys, I'm Ivana Zamora. I go to Pan Am. I'm actually Joe's assistant, so that's pretty cool. I'm studying communication studies, and hopefully I graduate in August, so pray for me.
Ooh, early congratulations. Before we go into the topic, how does it feel to be Joe's assistant?
I'm the best assistant ever, so in saying that, it's great.
I still don't have my coffee, but
All right, well, going to talk about coffee and warmth and all, we're in the month of December where everything is coffee, everything's warm, everything's delicious, spicy, peppermint. But I think that's what we see now all the time. You know, we see, because it's the month of Christmas. You know, that's what we're seeing a lot around everywhere, the shops that we go to, the stores that we visit, because we want to buy Christmas stuff. It's Christmas season. But we forget what the month of December really stands for a lot of the times, because everything's become so commercialized. And with that being said, you know, we don't think about Advent. Well, we're like, well, what's Advent? Well, Advent is the 4 weeks before Christmas, and usually, my personal opinion, this is what I think of when I hear Advent. I think of the 3 purple candles and the 1 pink one. That's what I think, and we gotta light it because it's Christmas, and we know it's Christmas when the last candle is lit. So that's me when I think of Advent. And so, but that's my opinion. So what do you guys think when you hear Advent?
Okay, I guess I'll start first. Personally, I love Advent. It's the best season ever. Usually, it's a challenge because you have to get excited about your faith, and that's exactly where I get excited. Is this time of the year, and it's kind of like the present before Christmas. You know, that's how I really think of Advent, and it's really become one of my favorite things to do. Just because I put a lot of sacrifice and a lot of prayer into it, that it's just become something that I can't wait till Advent. It's like my Christmas. So,
see, and I like what you're saying there. And what I like about Advent is that it really prepares us for Christmas. You know, I see it again with the food reference, but it's like when you're making a cake, right? You don't just, oh, here's the batter, and then or poof, here's the cake. You know, you get your ingredients together, you get the materials, you get the baking pan, you preheat the oven. You have to do those steps before you can make the cake, and of course, and then enjoy the cake. And I think that's what Advent for me is a process. Advent for me is a process to prepare me for Christmas and to understand the meaning of Christmas and to know that, you know, I'm ready for it. You know, this is to celebrate the birth of Jesus, and so the birth is significant to me. The birth of our Savior is significant to me. So then I'm going to prepare for it. I'm going to get ready for it. If the President of the United States is going to come to my house, I'm going to clean. You know, I'm probably going to get some food and stuff. You know, we get ready because it's a person that we've been waiting for. And if we look in tradition, you know, the people were waiting for the Messiah, and the Messiah came. And so I think we owe it to that to prepare ourselves for it.
Well, I see it as a huge opportunity. You know, at first, of course, you know, we have to go, you know, through what Joe was saying. But I see it as a huge opportunity for those who aren't close to the church, because there are a ton of people that are, you know, they have, you know, a great faith, but they don't profess it and they don't really live it through the church because, you know, a lot of them are fearful of what others may think, so they don't go to church. But yet they have such a high faith. And I feel like it's a great opportunity, you know, Advent, of course, because those are the people that you can hook and you can bring them in. And that's whenever you educate them in the stuff that, you know, that we're going through as Christians, as Catholics, and how we can grow together, you know, as one through the season. So, I mean, that's the way I see it as a huge, huge opportunity.
So we know it's a portion of time, and it's part of the liturgical calendar, which is the church's calendar, pretty much. You know, we have our normal seasons, our winter, spring, summer, fall, but we also have the church's calendar. We have our time of Advent, we have the time of Lent, which everybody knows, the 40 days of giving up something. That's the way that it's recognized now. We have our time of our ordinary time. We have our Easter time. So we're specifically talking about Advent, and you're talking about preparation, and you mentioned preparation for the coming of Christ. And going a little bit more into Christmas itself, how do you feel about, like, I go to the store and we're in November. I go to the store and I'm seeing Christmas decorations. Like, I don't even see Thanksgiving decoration anymore. Like, they skip Thanksgiving. Like, forget the turkey. Like, let's go to the ham or something. Like, how do you feel about it just changing so much? And just it's now it's about Santa Claus and getting gifts and getting the new electronic device.
I think what happens is that, again, we lose sight into what Christmas is, and then, or we get excited for what Christmas has become. You know, it's a celebration. You know, time with family. You know, in the secular sense, you know, it's just time with family. We get stuff, like you said. That's more exciting than waiting and preparing to receive it. And you know, so the stores, whether it be the big chain stores or the smaller stores, take advantage of that. And you know, they do it with different techniques, these strategies, you know, with the sales, and we lose sight to prepare ourselves. You know, to really prepare ourselves. That's just what really rings in my mind, is to prepare, and put aside the Thanksgiving and the cute little Santa hat and the different stuff like that. You know, because Christ is coming, and I just think it's worth it. It's worth to be ready for it.
You know, that is so right, because the other day I was having a conversation with one of my friends, and I was like, I'm so excited for Christmas. I can't wait for Christmas in this Advent, when it becomes Advent. And she's like, yes, I can't wait till Christmas Day. It's like, so I can get to see what, everything I got. And I was like, we lose, like you said, we lose track of what Christmas is about. And so we have to remember that we have to go back to Christ and remember that He is the reason why we're celebrating Christmas. Like you said, He's our Messiah, and that's exactly why we're here.
And if we look at like you mentioned, the liturgical calendar, Advent and Lent are both signified by the color purple. And you know, if you go to Mass, you'll see the purple linens, the purple banners, stuff like that. But they're both seasons, they're both penitential seasons, you know, where you prepare, you know, it's the preparing, and it's the opportunity to, like you mentioned, for the people that have not come to church for a while, it's a chance to come back and say, I'm sorry, where we recognize what we've done and what we haven't done. We take that time to realize it, and then really get to celebrate and join Jesus in that. And there's different aspects of like the liturgical calendar that leads us to believe that it's a renewal. It's the beginning of the church calendar. You know, if it's our new year, the church new year. So it's a new beginning. It also gives you a chance to say, you know what, I may not have gone to Mass in a year, or I haven't gone in a while, but I'm back. You know, I can. This is a new beginning. You know, we never start a diet on Thursday. We always say, oh, I'm going to start the diet on Monday.
On Monday, yeah.
You know,
and then end on Thursday.
and then right. And so then again, I think it lends itself for us to take some time and say, you know what, I'm coming to Christ. I'm going to be there, you know, and we can use the image of like the three kings that, you know, they prepared for their journey to be with Jesus when He was born. They were guided by a star, by a light in the sky. Well, we're guided by the light of Jesus. You know, that we're able to look back and to keep and in history, look back in history, and then be focused on it for our future.
And the thing is, you know, looking back and stuff, things were way different. You know, now a lot of, you know, with society, it's no longer, you know, Christmas according to them. You know, the word Christ is not in there. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but in a lot of advertisements and stuff, it's all turned into Xmas. You know, they're taking out the whole Christ. And once you do that, then this season has no, you know, it has no point. You know, it has no purpose. And the way, you know, God has created us, He has created us to have a purpose, to be called, you know, the people that we've called, you know, to be. And yet, whenever you're taking Christ out of that, you know, it has no purpose. Now, this season, if it has no purpose, then why are we celebrating it? you know, this society has turned into something that's just really, you know, confusing because it's, you know, it's not this, it's this. There's so many different, you know, contradictions that are brought up, and, you know, it's hard to really focus on the true, you know, point that Christmas and Advent really brings, because, you know, like Ivana said earlier, how it's like, you know, we focus on the presents, we focus on the gifts and other stuff whenever Christ is our main focus, and yet a lot of us, you know, we lose that, you know, within, you know, this sea of, like, you know, like just random stuff.
And like you know, we're mentioning gifts, and we were in a previous show we were talking about things that make us happy. I mean, do you notice that? I don't know if you notice that pattern. I just saw it right now. When you say gifts, it's a type of temporary satisfaction, because that's what we want. We're like, oh, I can't wait for Christmas because I'm gonna get this. 3 months later, it's gonna be under your bed somewhere. At least for me, it will be.
That, and you know, the whole season gets it's been watered down, and you know, like I can't reiterate enough that the importance of Advent. It's when we come back and not let it get watered down.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want we don't want a watered down tea when we're at a restaurant. We want, you know, something that's just been fresh. Yes, another food metaphor, I understand. But you know, but that's what we want, and Advent lends itself to that. You know, and we're, for example, like during Advent, I like to focus on like an examination of conscience. What have I done to prepare my heart for Jesus? What have I done to prepare my life for the coming of our Savior? You know, and that examination helps me to really put things in perspective. You know, and taking out, you know, like you mentioned, taking the Christ out of it. Take the Christ out of your life, and we're missing meaning. It's missing the substance.
And he always gets before I ask the next question. So what have you done to prepare for Advent, or what are some ideas that you can suggest to some of the people viewing us? What you do personally, I mean, only what you want to share, obviously. What that you do for Advent, or that you know what other people do, like other practices that they have.
Okay, I'll go first. Actually, I liked the sacrifice that you have to do with Advent. It's very personal, whereas Lent season, I think of, you know, community, you know, we're all doing this together, but Advent, I think, should be the same way. And so last year I actually had a little bracelet, and it was, as you guys know, I don't have I have a Spanish deficiency. And so I had a little bracelet that had the Our Father in Spanish. And so I pretty much learned it, sort of, kind of. I mean, I learned 3/4 of it. And so this year I'm actually going to improve and learn Spanish, like the Spanish prayers, the common Spanish prayers, like the Our Father, Hail Mary, Glory be, you know, all those types of things. And so that sacrifice, I mean, God sees our sacrifices no matter little, small, if you complete it, if you don't, like he sees the sacrifice you go through. And so in saying that, we have to look, like you said, like have an examination of conscience and, you know, go out to people and tell them, hey, Advent is important. You know, the coming of Jesus is important. Take that joy that they had with their gifts for Christmas and change it to the gifts we have, you know, like our family. You know, like everything else we have, like these gifts are for God, and he gives them to us. So I guess we have to remember those sacrifices that we do every day and to bring it to Christ.
That's an awesome point, because starting last year, like what I did was I also did a sacrifice. Yeah, my parents would always ask me, you know, what do you want for Christmas? And you know, ever since I was small, I was always like, oh, I want video games, or I want a football, you know, something cool. But starting last year, it came to the realization that, you know, as like this Christmas should be, you know, more about family and more about love and of course about Christ. So I told him I don't want any gifts this year. You know, that was my sacrifice leading up, because I knew everybody else was getting gifts. But I just told him I don't want a gift, because if I get a gift, then that takes away my focus. You know, it's just a little bit of the icing on the cake, you know. How are you going to eat, you know, just icing without the, you know, cake? You know, like I said,
well,
it all comes down back to purpose. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure Joe can tell us on the icing stuff, but it all comes down to purpose, you know, again. And so that's one thing that I've been trying to focus on, you know, on the more giving aspect and more focusing on Christ during this, you know, this time of Advent. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure Joe can talk more about
What's your
icing.
next food analogy, Joe?
No.
I mean, and those are all like